Somewhere in the forests of Scandinavia and the northern reaches of Russia, woodworkers discovered something that should not have been possible with the tools and knowledge they had available. Softwood, pine, spruce, the timber that makes up the majority of what grows in cold northern forests, was being transformed into a material that outlasted hardwoods, resisted rot, and held structural integrity under conditions that would have destroyed untreated timber within a decade. The method was not discovered in a laboratory. It was observed in nature, understood intuitively by the people who worked with wood every day, and applied with a precision that the modern materials science behind it only confirmed centuries later. The observation that started everything was Picasta, pitch pine, or what forms naturally when a pine tree is stressed, wounded, or reaches the end of its life cycle. In those conditions, the tree saturates its own heartwood with resin, filling the cellular structure of the wood so completely that the result is a material dramatically denser, harder, and more rot-resistant than the surrounding softwood from the same species. The tree was essentially doing chemically what northern craftsmen learned to replicate deliberately, driving a mineral or resinous compound deep into the fiber structure of soft wood until that fiber structure was no longer the limiting factor in the wood's durability. The traditional process involved prolonged exposure of green or semi-green pine to controlled heat, slow enough to draw the natural resins up from the heartwood and into the outer sapwood layers rather than burning them off, as a faster fire would. Buried pine techniques used soil as both the heat transfer medium and the pressure vessel, creating conditions where the wood could not expand freely as it heated, which forced the resinous compounds into the cellular matrix rather than allowing them to evaporate or drip off the surface. The result, after weeks of this treatment, was wood with a surface hardness approaching certain softwoods while retaining the workability of pine, a combination that explains why Viking ship components treated with variations of this method have been recovered from seabeds after more than 1,000 years in salt water, still structurally coherent. The modern understanding of what was happening in that process is the chemistry of resin polymerization under heat and pressure. The resinous compounds in pine are monomers, molecular building blocks that, given the right conditions of heat, pressure, and time, cross-link into polymer chains that fill the cellular voids in the wood and harden into a matrix that is part wood and part something more akin to a composite material. The wood fibers provide the structural template. The polymerized resin fills the spaces between them and locks the structure. What made this transformation work was not time alone and not heat alone. It was forcing the mineral and resinous compounds deep into the fibers where they could bond with the wood's cellular structure rather than sitting on its surface where weathering, abrasion, and moisture would eventually remove them. This is the principle that modern wood hardener technology replicates, not by copying the exact chemistry of pine resin polymerization, but by achieving the same end result through a different route.
J. B. Weld 8281 professional-size steel reinforced epoxy works on exactly this principle, a two-part system where the hardener component drives into porous, degraded, or soft wood fiber and polymerizes in place, creating a composite structure that is harder than the original wood and more resistant to compression, moisture, and biological degradation.
If you are working with softwood that needs to perform like hardwood, or restoring timber that has begun to degrade, this is the modern chemical equivalent of what the northern woodworkers were achieving through weeks of controlled burial and heat. The link is in the description. The second element of the traditional process that most modern replication attempts skip is pressure. The soil burial technique was not incidental. The surrounding soil prevented the wood from expanding as it heated, maintaining physical compression on the fiber structure while the resin compounds were polymerizing. Wood that can expand freely during the setting process does not achieve the same fiber density as wood under compression, because the cellular matrix remains partially open rather than being forced into the closed, dense configuration that gives the treated wood its hardness. The WorkPro bar clamp set, 6-pack, one-handed operation, 4 6-inch and 2 12-inch clamps, 150-pound load limit, provides the controlled compression during the setting phase that the soil burial was providing in the original technique. Without pressure during the curing period, the fibers never fully bond into the compressed configuration that defines the transformation. With it, the modern epoxy hardener and the clamped compression together replicate the essential conditions of the ancient method. The link is in the description. The northern woodworkers who developed this technique were solving a specific problem with the materials available to them: how to build durable structures in a climate that destroys ordinary wood within a generation, using only the softwood species that grow in their environment. The solution they found was not a workaround. It was a fundamental material transformation that modern materials science can now explain and, with the right products, replicate in an afternoon rather than over weeks of soil burial. Subscribe to In the Beginning. The product links are in the description. See you in the next one.